Tony Bobulinski. Okay? Tony Bobulinski, he's the guy. Remember, he was the one that said, you got to set aside money for the big guy. And the big guy was Joe Biden. Bobulinski testified before Congress today, and boy, oh boy, there's some doozies in there. Well, this is actually, you're looking at a graphic right now from the Oversight House Committee that talks about another big deal, which is what Rob Walker is alleging. And that has to do with, gosh almighty, some $3 million that went from CEFC, that's the Chinese energy company, to Hunter Biden, all around the same time that Joe Biden attended a CEFC meeting at the Four Seasons in Washington, D.C. They had the chairman, Yi Jinping, allegedly there, as well as other CEFC officials. CEFC was a natural gas company, traditional energy. By the way, it's okay for the Chinese. It's okay for the Romanians. It's okay for Ukraine. It's just not okay for us to have traditional energy. Think about that. Think about that for a second. So all this money is going back and forth. And we're still sitting here and saying, well, what role did Joe Biden have? This is pretty serious, because if they can connect the dots here and say, okay, Hunter gets $3 million after his dad attends a meeting, well, then you're going to have issues. So they just came out with the Rob Walker transcript that gets into this. And it's not good. It's not good for Joe Biden. I mean, he's got enough problems, right? You get the age thing going on, and now you get this. And they've got the Tony Bobulinski one as well. Here's one of the headlines. Joe Biden enabled family to sell access to dangerous adversaries, according to Tony Bobulinski. It says that he was aware of the CEFC transaction. He enabled it, according to Bobulinski, and had a constitutional responsibility and obligation to the American people to shut it down before it began. This is because CEFC, he's testifying, has been identified as a known surrogate of the Chinese Communist Party by the U.S. government and prosecutors in the Southern District of New York as far back as 2016, possibly earlier. Oh boy. So why is it then, just saying, that Hunter Biden would not actually come forward and register as a foreign agent? I mean, you're dealing with the Chinese Communist Party. We know that this particular company was in existence because it carried the favor of the Chinese Communist Party. And this had been documented. So why would Hunter have been doing business with them, not registered as a foreign agent? Moreover, why on earth would Joe Biden be willing to do business with them, also not registering as a foreign agent? According to this testimony, Bobulinski said, I personally met with Joe Biden in Los Angeles in May of 2017 multiple times to discuss the broad contours of our business dealings. This is all breaking right now, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is pretty damning stuff. He said, the only reason Joe Biden met with me privately during the Milken Institute Global Conference and seated me at his head table was because I was a business associate of the Biden family. Joe Biden's immediate family members were enriched to the tune of tens of millions of dollars from some of our most dangerous adversaries, including, he alleges, here in his testimony, the Chinese Communist Party and players from Russia, Ukraine, Romania, Kazakhstan, and other foreign nations and entities. Wow. He says, it is my educated belief, dating back to Q clearance briefings I received in the Navy and continuing through recent discussions and experts, that under U.S. corruption laws, political office holders can be held as responsible as the immediate members who are receiving money directly. This makes common sense and Americans understand this. He goes on. I mean, look, it does make sense. The Biden family, Joe's son Hunter and his brother Jim, knowingly and aggressively defrauded me as the CEO, he says, of Sinohawk Holdings and as a member of Oneida Holdings, LLC, at the end of July 17. They put Joe Biden and the rest of the Biden family smack in the middle of a $9 billion transaction. Whoa, a $9 billion transaction between Russia and China involving Qatar, specifically the Qatar Investment Authority, and helped CEFC, that is the Chinese energy company, navigate through various issues before Patrick Ho a Chinese executive was arrested for corruption in New York in November of 2017. Oh my gosh. I think we have a problem. I think we have a very big Hunter Biden problem. And I think that Joe being aware of it complicates things immensely. Joe Biden, it may be time to step down. I mean, this may not have anything to do with age at this point. I mean, look, selfishly, because I care so much about policy, as you just heard, I'd kind of like Joe Biden to be the one that's running, because I think that if you put Michelle or somebody else in there, it's unknown, it's unproven whether or not you actually get a Republican leader in the White House. I'm pretty sure, and I'm judging by all the polls right now, that Donald Trump will succeed in November of 2024, so long as he's running against Joe Biden. He'll also succeed if he runs against Kamala Harris, which is entirely possible because she's gunning for the job. Trust me. We talked about that yesterday. She's really out there wanting it right now. But this is really stunning stuff. So the level of corruption that's being alleged right here, being admitted to, I'm like, well, why would he do this, right? Why would Tony Bobulinski do this? Why would he say all this? Well, he may say all this because he doesn't have a choice, right? At some point, you do have to tell the truth. You can't just keep covering for yourself. And if you've got Comer running around saying, hey, we got this, we got that, you might want to save yourself from jail time. And so you come forward with all this. They'll try and paint him as somebody who's for sale, for hire, whatever. And they'll go through his background and say, he's not a trustworthy witness, et cetera. But, the guy was in the Navy. And he was in business with the Biden family for quite some time. And I think that there's going to be HELL, or should be HELL, to pay on this one, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I still get back to this. How is it that everybody is allowed to drill for natural resources except for us, because we're too environmentally friendly? I mean, you get Hunter working on behalf of the Chinese, working on behalf of Ukraine to make sure that those companies get what they want. But what about U.S. Americans, right? This is the thing that keeps coming up over and over again.